Welcome to another edition of Amp It Up. I'm your host, Colleen Fuentes, and tonight we have Sarah Morris in the studio with us. Sarah, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Lonely or Free was written, I was just at home and doing exactly what I say in the song. It's sitting here watching the snow fall down on top of all the snow that's just lying around, and I started to think back on people I've known in my life. I used to bartend, and different characters I would meet, and how sometimes people would come in and they'd seem lonely, but maybe they weren't lonely. Maybe in their heart they felt filled and they felt free. Just because they were traveling solo didn't make them a lonely person. And so I started kind of investigating that thought, and I wrote the first 2 verses, and then I pretty much took a year away from it. Nothing ever came, and then I had my baby, and I wasn't writing anything. And then I started wanting to write again, and so I went to my fiddle player at the time, and I asked her if she'd help me out, kind of unrut me from the song, and we sat down and we finished it over 2 sessions. So it was really special to finally see it end, because I had been holding on to it for a long time.
His whiskey down like any other fool, with nowhere to go, no one to see. He doesn't know if he's lonely or free. One heart's broken, another's wide open, but they're beating just the same. You can carry the world on your shoulders, the flame. She grabs a cup of coffee to watch the sunrise, and just like the day before, it's still a beautiful surprise. Nowhere to go, no one to see. She doesn't know if she's lonely or free. Steps onto the subway, it's gonna be a long ride. First time she's ever done this without him by her side. Nowhere to go, no one to see. But she doesn't care, 'cause if she's lonely, she's free. And it looks the same if you're lonely or free. Lonely or free.
I definitely feel like I spent some time in the 20s like not as focused as I could have been about music, and once I had my baby and my time wasn't my own anymore, I was like, oh my gosh, think of the hours I watch TV. I want those back. I want to do other things with those hours. So that would probably be what I feel most guilty about.
Since I was a little girl, I've been sure I know what love is, how it feels and how you hold on to it tight. But I was wrong, and I'll admit it, even though everyone knows how I like to be right. See, love is also letting go, and nothing could have prepared me for the sight of you standing on your own. And I know it's the first time of many. I'll have to find the strength to show you can do it all alone. The thing is, I've never been a believer, at least not in the usual way. It's an instinct now, and I can't help it when I say your name. It might be silent, but it's there. Yes, it always ends in a prayer. Might be as simple as a whispered, keep my baby safe, or oh my God, I hope you always laugh that way. Someday when you're grown, I hope you find love like I've known, looking in your daddy's face. The thing is, I've never
Ends with a prayer. I went through this period when my son was a year and a half where I just all of a sudden had a lot to say about life. I hadn't written anything the whole time he'd been living, and I feel like I started it on a walk with him one day, and the idea was in my head, and then he took a nap at the time. He was sleeping in our dining room, so I had to go down to the basement when I wanted to write, and I just remember thinking about him. It's my love song to him, essentially.
I spent half a lifetime looking for a reason why, and I found the sweetest answer in your first cry. The thing is, I've never been a believer, at least not in the usual way. It's an instinct now, and I can't help it when I say your name. It might be silent, but it's there. Yes, it always ends in a prayer. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Amp It Up and Sarah Morris right after the break.
If I were to spend the rest of my life with a single animal, it would be my dog, Lenny. It would be dogs in general. Dogs, I've always been a dog person, but my family, we have Lenny Briscoe is our big lab mix. We got him in Tennessee, and he's the best. He's our best friend. I want to cry about him. He's just, he's such a warm soul, and we got so lucky to find him at the pound. It was, it felt like, I remember going with my husband, and we saw him, and we played with him for a while, and then he came and he sat right in between the two of us, and it was like, oh yes, we're a family, the three of us. I'd be very happy with just me and him forever. That's a good thought.
Do you know what this is? It's a MacGuffin, a plot device in the film we're making. Do you want to be a filmmaker but you haven't found the right place to learn how to do it? Join us for our semester-long hands-on course in directing, shooting, and editing, and get started making your own film. Check out our Filmmaking 101 class at townsquare.tv.
We are back with more Amp It Up and Sarah Morris. Sarah, thank you so much again, and whenever you're ready.
I wrote Good Fight about one of my best friends going through a tough time in her relationship. Actually, it totally spurred my writing spree. I spent the weekend with her and listening to her talking about, really wanting it to work out, and I just went home and it was the same thing, like Alistair took a nap and I went down to the basement with my guitar and it just came out so fast, and that hadn't happened in a really long time, but it was just like, it was exactly what I imagined she wanted to tell him.
Up here, could you show me on a map, maybe figure out how to get back to where we started? Yeah, I know the road we're traveling on ain't where we thought we'd be. No one plans on getting so close to broken hearted, but all I know is that it doesn't matter who's right. That I'm not letting you go without a good fight. But we're both a little dizzy from those circles we've been spinning and had that same old conversation a million times. So won't you stand here for a little while and take a deep breath in, baby, realize that your best friend's been here the whole time. 'Cause all I know is that it doesn't matter who's right. All I can promise you is that I'm not letting you go without a good fight. We both know how to say goodbye. I'm gonna give love, I'm gonna give us another try, another try, another try. All I know is that it doesn't matter who's right. No, all I can promise you is that I'm not letting you go. No, I'm not letting you go without a good
like a lot of the 80s fashion because I was a kid then and I thought it was like cool to look, you know, older, but I never thought shoulder pads were cool, and also Zubas. I mean, Zubas were really bad, and sometimes I see them still at the mall and I'm like, no, 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 people. We know that those are for home only and not even really for home. Maybe for nowhere. I'm sorry. Sorry to any Zubas lover out there.
I can't believe the way that those leaves have hung on that tree all winter long. But here it is in March 22, and I'm still thinking of you and wondering where we went wrong. You'd think that a season with all of that snow would have left me a bit more prepared for the cold, cold way that you treat me. They say spring is for lovers, but if I can't recover, then what do I care if it's raining? If all of those April showers bloom into flowers, I'll still have a heart that's breaking. The sun may start shining and turn the world green, but I'll be reminded of the sweet, sweet way you once held me. I liked it better when you were mine. So I go back there all the time. Soon there'll be long summer days like the ones where we lay side by side for hours on end, just dreaming up at the clouds. You tell me how we had forever to spend, just laughing and loving our lifetime away. So baby, what happened? 'Cause October came and you
I Go Back is
just left me.
my favorite writing story. I think Alistair wasn't taking naps, so I wasn't getting time to myself. And so I started kind of working through musical ideas on our walks. And I always have my dog Lenny and my jogging stroller, and I was like bouncing around and singing to myself, and I would pass this tree every day, and it was like February and March, and I would notice that the tree still had its leaves and they were brown and holding on. I started thinking about love and how sometimes you just, even when it's gone, you keep holding on to it.
I know it ain't healthy, and I know that I should move on. It's not like I can control it. The heart wants what it wants, and baby, I want you still. I liked it better when you were mine. So I go back there all the time.
Thank you. I was a very dramatic child. When I was 5, I had told everyone I wanted to be an actor and a dancer and a lawyer. Like I just wanted to do everything, but I always loved singing.
We will be back with more Sarah Morris and Amp It Up right after the break.
We all have stories inside us.
I know I do.
These stories come from our experiences and imagination.
I imagine things all the time.
A screenplay is a story told in a particular way for a particular purpose.
What's that?
For making a film. Writing a screenplay is not quite the same thing as writing a novel. It's important to know the differences.
Why?
A reader experiences a novel. A viewer experiences a screenplay when it is made into a film.
I like movies.
The screenwriter must always keep in mind how each scene will be experienced by the audience. What will each action and each line of dialogue make the viewer feel?
I see.
If you've never written a screenplay but want to, you probably have many questions.
Yeah, I do. How do I format a screenplay? Should I describe the camera angles I'd like to see? Should I add film to the actors? What is a MacGuffin?
It's easy to get hung up on the little things.
I'll say.
So let's work through your screenplay together. Register for Screenwriting 101 at townsquare.tv.
If I knew for certain that there was a heaven or a hell, how would I change my life? I would like to think that I wouldn't have to change it all that much. I feel like especially since becoming a mother, the thought of modeling good behavior is so important to me. You know, who I want him to be is who I try to be.
Welcome back to Amp It Up. We are going to get to know Sarah Morris a little bit more up close and personal. Sarah, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
Could you introduce your special guest too?
Yes, this is Thomas Nordland. He is my guitar player, and he's awesome.
Tom, thank you for coming tonight. And we have the pit crew in the back too.
Yes, we do. Thanks to them, they're making me look awesome.
Yeah, well, of course. Thank you guys for coming. We love having fans here. So Sarah, who are your musical influences?
I would say Alison Krauss was one of my biggest influences. Patty Griffin really changed my life, like thinking about songwriting. Like going in the Wayback Machine, we listened to a lot of Bette Midler when I was growing up, and Johnny Mathis and Frank Sinatra, and a lot of people who were real, singers, like
Sure.
crooners. That
No auto-tuning back then,
No
right?
auto-tuning.
The
no.
real deal.
And I still don't really like that, no.
Well, you sound amazing, so
thank you.
Congrats on that. And you recorded 2 albums, 2 CDs in 2011.
I did.
Congratulations. How
Thank
did you do that?
Well, it was a big year. We had, in 2009, I had a baby, and in 2010, my husband took the bar exam. That was the whole year.
Oh,
so it was
yeah.
2011 was the time to do music.
It was Sarah's time.
Yep, and the first album, it's called Grateful Moon, and it's a covers album, except for it has 1 originals, and that was really inspired by my dad. He had a giant list of songs he wanted to hear me sing at some point.
Grateful Moon is one of my oldest songs. I wrote it in Nashville with a couple good friends of mine, and one of the co-writers, Brian Barnett, had just gotten out of a really tough time in his life, and it come out for the better, and he wanted to write a song about that, about being grateful for the good things that life shows you even when times get tough, and it was really easy. I remember sitting in my living room and just kind of finishing it up. It just came right out, and I've been singing it for a long time, but I still love it.
It's a grateful moon I'm living under. It's a grateful life I'm living through. I take my time, sit back and wonder at the changes I've been through. Got a quiet heart that keeps on beating. Got a quiet mind that keeps on dreaming. I don't think twice nothing but living to do. Uncomplicated, I'm fascinated, just watching the clouds roll by. I got a little of something, baby, that's better than nothing. Yeah, I've got everything I need.
Tom is fantastic. He's been playing with me for just about a year now, and he's an amazing jazz guitarist. And the first few shows I played with him, he would solo, and I just would want to stop and just listen to him. He's very lyrical in his playing. Every solo he has really has a purpose. It's awesome.
Uncomplicated, I'm fascinated, just watching the clouds roll by. I got a little of something, baby, that's better than nothing. Yeah, I've got everything I need. There's a million stars that look like diamonds, and a million reasons for silver linings. It's a grateful moon that keeps on shining down on me. Shine down on me. Shine down on me.
Thank you so much.
Let's give it up one more time for Sarah Morris. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
And Tom, and the pit crew. That wraps it up for this edition of Amp It Up. I'm your host, Colleen Fuentes. We'll see you next time.